Hey YouTube, it's Chris, and today working on my wife's 2005 Honda Civic EX, and I got all of the doors and windows open, including the sunroof, which that really is a red Honda badge, and that steering wheel is stuck on one day. But we're going to take all the center console all out, and I'm going to replace that old stock gear shift and boot, and so I'll show you all of the steps to do that, and want to show you that we're going to be replacing it with this. Very nice. It's a leather, and on the inside it's felt, so very nice. And also the gear shift knob is looking like that, and then also got these little screw-on adapters for that gear shift knob. So going to start on taking apart or taking off this center console, and the light is not real great, but I'll do the best we can. So I got two Phillips screws on this side, and on the other side over here we also got two other Phillips screws. So take those out, and that should make this whole back console come off over the emergency brake lever. And then that should come off, and then it's just a matter of also taking the front part off there. And in order to do that, well, have to move the seat back quite a bit, and we got that little thing right there on that side as well as the other side. So those should pop out or pry out of the hole, and that should allow, as well as we'll have two screws down inside we'll take out. So we'll kind of get started on all of those kinds of things. So we'll kind of get set up here, and we'll start taking the screws out. Alright, well, we're back. I worked on it for a little while. I took the three screws out, and I was lifting and pulling and pulling and lifting. That's loose, but it ain't gonna come off or come up. I couldn't really figure out what else is holding it down, so eventually just started pulling this plastic panel out. Looks like I may have damaged a clip, but I still got most of them in there. The clips are okay, and I pulled off the side panel some on that side, and again I broke a clip off there. But then I thought, well, what else? And so I got my little screwdriver here. I started prying off on the top, and the whole thing popped off like that. So that might be how it's going to be for your 2005 Honda Civic. Everyone's a little different, and I watched other videos where this whole entire console comes off in halves, and I guess they've done it differently for this one. It's all one piece, so it does actually make it a little easier, not having to take a whole pile of screws and little plastic pins all out. All you got to do is kind of do your best to pry off the side panels there and pry off on the front. And other videos have this screwed down into the center console, and this is not. This is just popped in. This has like little plastic pins there, so that's actually kind of easier than what I've seen on the other videos. But looks like on the other videos, this leather boot is held in place by staples. So I wonder for some way, I may not, but I wonder for some way I can try to reuse these same staples for the new boot. And so we'll try that. So I guess now that kind of finally solves that mystery. It may very well be the same for your 2005 Honda. All you got to do is just kind of pry off the side panels off some, and then get your screwdriver into the front and kind of try your best to pop it off, and that's what I did. So I'll get to work on these staples, and we'll be right back. I'm not sure if you're able to see, because I don't have the camera positioned quite where I want it so I can see really well, but there's a get my screwdriver here on this little staple. I'm able to kind of pry that out. It's probably really difficult to see, but I do find that this little staple will pry out enough. And same for, actually, it would be nice if you could see, and I could see too. Here, so I kind of got that kind of bent out. So I'm going to work on these staples. I'll kind of bend them out, pull them out. I'll put and then I'll get ready to put the new boot in. I'll be right back. Alright, so I got we're back. I got the little, can't really see that probably, get the little staples out. And so, like I said, all I do is I just use my little jeweler's screwdriver to kind of pry out the little ends of the staple, and I use my pliers to kind of pull it out, and then I straightened it out. So I might be able to reuse this. We'll have to see. And now just got to get that little, take that little screw off. And this screw holds on that little silver trim. Kind of got that, and just pull that out of there. And it looks like the little silver things can held on by clips. It looks like on the inside. Not sure if I really need to mess with that, but you know, I guess I should. I'll work on this. I was expecting kind of expecting this little silver trim piece to just kind of. There, finally. That took a while. So it does pull off of there. So now we can get our new boot. And again, this might be hard to see, but on the new boot you already have the little holes for the staples already there for you. So you can kind of see the little, so they're like that all the way around. So we'll go ahead and these look like this looks like this might already be cut out for it, but if not, I can get some scissors and I can kind of trim around the bottom. So I'll work on that for a while and kind of get this inserted in. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I spent quite a good long while on this, and it's not quite exactly the way I envisioned it, but it's gonna work. I didn't want to cut too much off the bottom of this boot anymore, and I absolutely had to, and I already cut some pieces off, and so I just pulled on through the little holes as best as I can, as much as I was able to, all the way around here. And it took me quite a good long while, because I would pull on one end and the other end will pull out, and vice versa, and back and forth. And so I finally at last got it all kind of pulled through enough, and I just took this silver piece and I just snapped it all back on all the way around as best and as tight as I was able to. And it's still not quite exactly perfect. You gotta have like a bit of a gap there, but maybe it won't be anything quite too noticeable. So now, pretty much for that, I just got to put that screw back in that hole there. At least I hope it's going to line up. Okay, so now we got that all back together, and it's not, you know, coming all out and around the edges. And I took a long vice grip and I just kind of went around one end or one side where it's kind of, you know, up a little bit, and I kind of pushed it down best as I could. So, well, it's not too bad. At least I got it on there. It's took me quite a while. So now I just need to go ahead and put it back in the center console. So that will come down like that. So let's see, now this is going to go and start to push in. All like that, all the way around. And like I said, now that's quite a bit easier than what I have seen it done before in other videos, where they just, you know, they're having to take off two sections off at a time, and I thought I'd have the same thing here, but turns out no. So, okay, so now we got that. That's actually, that looks kind of nice like that. So now we're going to put the gear shift knob on, and here we have, you know, a bag of like 3 little adapters, and I'm thinking it's going to take the smaller one. We'll see which one will fit. Nope, too big. That's probably the one that's going to fit. So that's too big. Well, and actually that would fit too, actually. That might fit a little better than this, because this will be probably too small. So, and what you may not be able to see real well is that these are unthreaded, so they will thread into the plastic as it screws on. So I'm kind of not sure which one I want to go with. I don't know, that's way too big. This is going to be probably, this one's probably going to be too small. Then it needs a thread on this way. Actually, I was doing it the wrong way. It's got a thread on this way. Same with this. So that looks like that will work. So we'll take our little gear shift knob and start to thread this in there. Get it kind of good finger tight. It's probably all you need, I guess. It'll probably tighten up more. And then we'll get you turned around, and you can see. We'll see how this thing will thread on. And let's see. Now what I was going to do was, I was thinking about going to Lowe's and getting a nut and washer to mount here in order to kind of hold this up against the gear shift knob, and it looks like I may still need to do that. And so I may still look into doing that. So we'll have to see. I mean, otherwise it's not bad, and I guess it will stay. That probably will stay up like that, but you know, it might hang down too. So, well, let me see. Well, let me look at a couple things, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back, and made a trip to Lowe's, and came back. I was trying to experiment with a couple of different things. I got a M12 nut and a couple of washers, and the idea was that I was hoping to have the nut and the washers bottom down at the end of the thread. But when I did that, in order to kind of keep this held up against the shift knob, well, then that left with really no thread left on the top for the shift knob to thread on at all. So I took the nut off. I tried it with just the nut, and then that didn't work, and I tried it with just the washer only, and just with the washers that was just a bit better, but then the shift knob was still turning around a lot too easily and loose. So I ended up having to remove that. So that left me with just going ahead and putting this all back down and turning this shift knob all the way down to the bottom as far as I can get it. And now it's good and snug. I can turn it another good quarter of a turn before it stops moving completely, but at least here it's lined up and snug enough where it's not going to be loosey-goosey quite so much as it was. So that does look a lot better than a boring stock. Got that nice red thread through that boot like that, and I got I made sure the boot was inside there, not sticking all out on the edges. So now I need to put the rest of the car back together. I need to go ahead and put that grommet back in there, and the other grommet that kind of goes over here on that side. And then I need to get the 3 screws, put it in that, and then head on over here to this side and put the screws on that side. There's always the other screws on the other side that you can't see quite yet. So I'm going to go ahead and put those screws all in, and then that will finish up this little project here. Hope you like it. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and leave me some comments if you'd like to. And stay tuned for the next project I'll be working on soon. Bye.